Okay, Hildesang is joining in a couple of minutes, but let's get this kicked off. If anybody has any questions, same drill as yesterday, raise your hand and we'll come round and answer questions.
Thank you. Jan Bo Christensen from Gamers Lounge. First of all, congratulations with the decisive victory. Going back to the very first game today, you were struggling a little bit in the start. What was the tipping point when you finally broke through?
Okay. I think our generic game plan going into today's game was kind of that we were gonna win during the later stages no matter what. So we didn't really feel stressed when they got leads in pretty much all of the games, I think. So we're kind of just confident that our late game will be better than theirs. So we were just chilling, waiting for their mistakes. And I think they gave us a fight at Nash. They got Nash, but I think they gave us a fight. And then after that, we were completely fine in the game.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next question, guys. Anybody?
So last year in Hamburg, I asked G2 how they feel, and they said they are more relieved than happy because of the pressure on them, and they said they are already have their minds on MSI. So do you feel that way also, or are you like enjoying the win right now?
I'll take this one. At least coming into playoffs, I think everyone was pretty stressed out coming into semifinals. And a week before semifinals, I think everyone was a lot more nervous, and there was a lot more contention in practice of what we were going to do. So after we won semifinals, I think everyone was relieved, and I think this entire week has been very relaxed and, as Martin said, chill. So I think we're just happy and excited. I don't think it's a feeling of relief at all. I think we're just, yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
After today's match, I think it was Broxer who said that going into the international thing, MSI, is going to be a lot harder. How are you going to prepare for that?
Well, going into MSI, first of all, we're going to have a few days just to chill and do our own thing, and then after that, we're going to start practicing really hard. We haven't completely settled on going to Korea or practicing in Berlin yet, but as soon as possible, we're going to meet up and we're going to start practicing. As far as I know, we have around a month from now before MSI begins, and we're going to make use of that time and just start playing together and figure out the new patch.
Which team do you want to play the most against at MSI, and why?
I think most of us want to play against Kingzone the most because they're what we consider to be the best team. I think we learned the most from watching Kingzone. So for me, obviously, Khan. But for everybody else, I think they have an all-around star lineup. And their early game plans are usually impeccable. And we've just been trying to learn from Kingzone as much as possible. So being able to compete against them would be the best, I think.
Adele for Cybersport here, primarily looking at Dylan, Joey, and Caps on this one. Primarily on the drafting phase, a pretty huge curveball was thrown with the, I would say, not necessarily Misfits special, shout out to Power of Evil for that one. Karma made with Ardent Sensor pretty much shaped the series in my opinion. So what can you tell me about elaborating that into the draft and bringing it as a parameter into the series?
I think there was a time this week that Caps was playing solo queue, and he had a rule. If his AD carry was an AD carry main, he would play Karma mid. Otherwise, he would just play normal champions. It was a bit of a meme at first, but we saw some other regions playing it, and we played in a few scrims, and it was going really well. I think it's something you can pick when you feel like your AD carry is going to be very strong in this matchup and very strong in the game in general. So it's just purely dependent on your AD carry. And I guess when we have Martin as our AD carry, you can pick it in a number of scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, we were not necessarily planning on playing it just because we were expecting a lot of 80 carry bands. But once they left out to Tristana, we thought that, I mean, we assumed the Rekkles would get ahead, and he did. So then the camera pick was really strong because I don't really need that much attention mid. It's hard for us to do anything, to be honest, with Sejuani camera against Ryze. So we can just focus all our attention bot side, and then when Rekkles gets strong, then I can press E on him.
Darius from the Shotcaller here. Hey, my question would be to Rekkles. Now, you used to be known as the 80 Cannon. Now that you've played 9 games with Tristana this split and only had 1 death, you have like a KD of 80 or something. Is that your new go-to 80 carry at all times?
So already last year I was kind of considering Tristana to be my go-to, especially after Kennen got nerfed. I thought Twitch was also a champion of mine, but it was not that great, at least not in comparison to Tristana, because I think Tristana is generically just a good 80 carry, and already was last year. So for me, this split was mainly like either they ban it and I'll just play something else and be completely fine, or they don't ban it and we get another win on the board. So I was really happy to see that it was left open twice in this finals.
I'm asking Bipo, did you have any special preparations for this game, or did you just train with the team? Did you focus on Wonder, on his laning phase, or did you just train with the team, Scream?
I think I just practiced as always. For me, it wasn't really hard to practice at all because the only difference is that we just wanted to make sure that there was no carries in the top lane. I think, like I said in an interview earlier, is that our 4-man is just much better than G2's. I think across the board we have the better players when it comes to the bottom side of the map. So just forcing a tank versus tank matchup in the top lane and making sure that I'm adept at the tanks. So making sure I get the Ornn games, the Cho'Gath games in case it needs to be there. But they ended up leaving Sion up for me 3 different times. So it's always been a very comfort pick for me. So nothing really changed in that sense other than make sure I can play the tanks back and forth every matchup and just let Martin and Caps carry me.
Any other questions, guys?
It will be a completely different game once you go to the MSI and the Rift. Anything in particular that you need to train for those matches?
I think we cannot rely on outscaling our opponents as much, which is something we've done a lot in Europe, where we just play team compositions, where if opponents get ahead, they still need to be good enough to close out the games. And usually we've just taken that gambit and said, okay, we don't think you're good enough to close out the game, so we're going for that. But on an international stage, usually every team is indeed actually good enough to close out the games.
My question would be for the 5-star general now. Congratulations on being the very first person to achieve that, 5 titles in a row. Did it feel extra special to grab the Perks' chance at being the first player to get this?
A lot extra special. I don't know how to put it in words, but yeah, I wanted to make sure he didn't get it and that I was the one getting it. Yeah.
So that's going to be in regards to MSI, primarily on a team that is going to miss the event. I'm talking about the obvious SK Telecom Tier 1. Any thoughts about that, if you had followed any of that?
I thought you were going to say TSM.
Nah, come on, SKT.
Anyone?
Well, I think I'm actually a bit sad that SKT didn't make it because it was the only Korean team we never got to play at Worlds, and I've always really wanted to go up against them. But at the same time, they are looking a bit weak right now, and I think thinking of the jungle matchup for me going up against Kingzone rather than SKT will be much more exciting as of now. But yeah, generally I hope I get to play SKT at some point because of their legacy. But maybe in the future.
Okay, we have time for a couple more questions. So any last questions?
I'm just curious, what's the schedule for Source? Will he be an option for MSI or is he out for the tournament?
That's something that we have to check week by week because we don't know ourselves. It can be anywhere between 2 weeks and 6 weeks that his surgery lasts. So that also means that he's not playing League of Legends at a professional level for 2 to 6 weeks. So there's a lot of uncertainty on whether Soas can be ready.
Now, to add a little bit of silliness to this press conference, I'm looking at someone who has been doing interesting things, namely champion impressions. Does that ring a bell? Exactly. I want to know more. Also, comments from his teammates regarding those.
I mean, I'm pretty good at champion quotes. I'm not sure if that's what you're meaning. And some of my teammates and my coach, they don't play with sound on, like voices on. So I'm just trying to keep them on track when it comes to the different quotes and the lore, you know.
Apparently, it's really important Caps gets in with the lore of his champion when he's playing.
If I'm not feeling the champion, then I'm not really playing it, you know.
Okay, any final questions? Okay, then thank you very much, Fnatic, and congratulations again.
Hey everyone, this is Darius from the Shotcaller, and I hope you just enjoyed that video. This is a generic end card, of course, so make sure to click here for a different interview, or here for a different interview, or about here to subscribe to the Shotcaller. We very much appreciate your support, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.